Pisces, welcome to your monthly horoscope for September 2023. In this video, I will walk through some of the energy that you will be moving through for the month of September. And so coming into the month, we have quite a few planets retrograde. We are still moving through that Venus retrograde in your sixth house. Now, Venus also rules your eighth house and your third house. And so while Venus has been retrograde, you may have had to move through some energy situations or experiences that have to do with your partner's finances or money coming in from outside resources or taxes, inheritance, or third house topics, which represent your community, your neighbors and neighborhood, also siblings and cousins, also communication and, reading, speaking, and writing. And so while Venus has been retrograde, these are, some things that maybe you've had to address. Maybe something has been shown or something has shown up for you and brought to your attention. Now, coming into the month, we also have Mercury retrograde here in your seventh house. And Mercury rules your seventh house, but also rules your fourth house. And so while Mercury is retrograde, you may be, something may be brought to your attention around your relationships, your partnerships, your close personal connections. Something may also be brought up around your home and family, property, and real estate. And so a few things that you do just want to be mindful of coming into September. On September 3rd, we have Venus stationing direct. And so this is where you can, receive some clarity or insight around these Venus retrograde themes and topics you've been moving through. So whatever has been, shown to you, whatever's come up, whatever situations and experiences you've really been moving throughout this Venus retrograde, this is where, something can click or you can, have some type of an epiphany in a sense, not even really an epiphany, but when something just kind of clicks where you just have this understanding of the direction that you want to move in with whatever you're moving through, with your partner's finances or money coming in from outside resources or something that you've been moving through within your community. If you were moving through something with a neighbor, this is where, you can gain clarity around that. Or if something showed up with a sibling or a cousin, this is where things start to, kind of make sense. On September 4th, we have a Jupiter stationing retrograde here in your third house. Now, this Jupiter retrograde is quite interesting because Jupiter is going to move back to 5 degrees. Back the end of April, beginning of May, we had Mercury retrograde over this exact spot in your chart from 15 to 5 degrees of Taurus. And so if you think back, maybe you were presented with some information or you had a conversation with somebody and something was brought to your attention that maybe you are revisiting during this time period. Now, Jupiter will be retrograde until December 30th. So this is an energy that we are moving through for the remainder of the year. But Jupiter also rules your 10th house of career. And so while Jupiter is retrograde, you can also be rethinking, your career, possibly wanting to change your career in some way. Maybe even an opportunity can come up for you, or you are rethinking an opportunity that was maybe presented to you previously. On September 6th, we have the Mercury Cazimi here in your seventh house. And that will be at 13 degrees actually. And so whatever you've been moving through with this Mercury retrograde energy, with Mercury ruling your seventh house of relationships, close personal connections, and also your fourth house of home and family, this is where, this is where you can receive an epiphany. When Mercury is combust, which is an energy we will be moving through for the first week of September, there can be a lack of clarity. There can be brain fog. There can be confusion. When we have that Mercury Cazimi, when the Sun and Mercury come exact, that is where we can get, an intuitive download or some sudden insight to really aid in the direction that we are moving through or moving into. On September 14th, we have the new moon in Virgo here in your seventh house at 21 degrees. And so this is a really beautiful time to set intentions, that anything that really has to do with your relationships, close personal connections, or business partnerships. On September 19th, we have this sun opposition to Neptune. Now, I have been presenting this to all of the zodiac signs because I find this energy, quite beautiful to really work with and tap into. However, this energy will be felt a little bit more differently collectively than it will feel individually. So, collectively, this is where we can be hearing information that can be quite confusing, where we're not really understanding what we are seeing on the news, on the media, on social media. This is where, information is being presented and we, don't understand or don't know the direction we are moving in. Now, individually, this can be, really beautiful for tapping into, really enhancing our intuition, doing any type of spiritual work. The sun is our soul's expression. This is our life force energy. Neptune is a very spiritual planet. And then we have this beautiful kite configuration, which is the energy we want to tap into. We have the sun forming a trine, to Uranus, the great awakener, Pluto, which is very powerful, very psychic energy. And so, even too, once we get to September 20th, we have the sun form that trine to Pluto exact. And so, September 19th and September 20th is really, 2 days we want to be meditating. We want to be tapping into the energies around us, raising our frequency, raising our vibration. This is really beautiful energy for enhancing psychic abilities, even enhancing, developing our intuition, doing any type of intuitive work, and really doing any type of spiritual work. So, this really is beautiful energy. And then on September 23rd, we enter Libra season. The sun enters your eighth house. Now we also have Mars in your eighth house. So this is an energy you do really want to be mindful of when it has to do with your, with Mars here, when it has to do with your partner's finances or money coming in from outside resources. This is where you want to be careful that you're not getting too much in debt. This is where you can feel a little bit overwhelmed with money that's coming in from outside resources, bills, loans, debt. There can be issues with your partner's finances, and this really all depends on, how Mars is expressed within your own personal birth chart, whether Mars is your most malefic planet. Now, with the sun in the eighth, there can be a lot of focus with money coming in from outside resources. There can be a lot of focus on your debt, on taxes, inheritance, and your partner's finances. On September 28th, we have Venus forming a square to Uranus. And so, whatever you've been moving through with these Venus themes and topics, Venus ruling your eighth house of partners, finances again, and money coming in from outside resources. And also, those third house topics, with your community and your neighbors and neighborhood, or, communication, or even, siblings and cousins, whatever has really shown up for you during this Venus energy, this Venus story, this Venus saga. This is where something can come up a little bit unexpectedly, where maybe you are, for example, this could be like an unexpected argument with a neighbor. This could be, even just some annoyance showing up within the community. This could be an annoyance, with a sibling or a cousin. This could be some type of energy blockage when it has to do with, creative block, when it has to do with communication. If you work or do something that has to do with, communicating or reading, speaking, writing, this is where there can just be, some difficult energy around that you have to work through. This can also even too bring on something a little bit unexpected with your partner's finances and with debt too. So it is an energy you do want to be a little bit mindful of. And then on September 29th, we have that new moon in Aries right here in your second house. And this new moon will be at 6 degrees of Aries. And so the second house rules your money, your finances, your material possessions. And also with this new moon, or with this full moon, this full moon is lighting that house up. But if you think back to, the end of March, beginning of April, if you were setting any intentions, or if there was anything you were really trying to implement at that time, this is when you can start to see those intentions finally come to fruition, manifest. So, if you reflect back to anything, around your money, your finances, and material possessions, that any intentions that you set, reflect back. And this is really when you can see, the manifestations of that. Pisces, I hope this helps you navigate the energy for September. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.